I'd like us to celebrate the global inspiration and expression of WIN, Women's International Networking, as a formidable dream that has come true and has come to Nigeria and Abuja, the capital city. Put your hands together and celebrate. One had a dream, but she didn't sleep on it. That's what's going to happen to your dreams and mine. 20 years from now, who's going to be clapping in a room? Let's put another applause together and appreciate. Also right now, to very properly welcome for the opening welcome remarks, Madam Charity Ohadinwa, the executive partner of WIN Nigeria, and today our host here in the Federal Capital Territory.
Good morning. We are really pleased to have all of you here this morning for WIN, Women International Networking Conference, Nigeria 2016. Many years ago, I was living outside this country, and I watched with so much pain the plight of Nigerian youths in overseas countries. And when I got back to Nigeria, I decided to set up an NGO called Human Resource Working Partners. What in particular this NGO is championing is to reduce as much as possible the fruitless economic migration of young Nigerians to developed countries. Today, we are partnershiping with an international NGO that's almost 20 years old, Women International Networking Conference, Lausanne, Switzerland. And we are happy to have in our midst today, Kristen Envik, founder of WIN International Networking Conference, Lausanne, Switzerland. Thank you very much.
So, thank you very much for inviting me here. I was working in a big bank for many years, and I realized that it was very hierarchical, lots of opportunities, lots of training, and maybe things can be done a little differently. What if we can put some of the feminine qualities into the way we work? So for at least 5,000 years on this planet, we have had quite a strong patriarchy, let's say. And I think it's time that women worldwide raise up and bring our qualities. So let's say that, okay, we need structure, we need efficiency, we need a little bit of competition. But what if we bring our collaboration? What if we listen to our intuitions, to our heart, and put that in action? So that's why also we get together, women worldwide. The first thing I'll ask you to do is to be open, be a little more open than we usually are. Be quick to contribute. And also if you see someone standing alone, go and talk to her. And if you say you're going to do something for her, you commit to it. And if you are in a situation you're committed to, at work or home, anywhere, but things are going on that's not acceptable, you fight for that too. You never accept unacceptable behavior, because guess what? That will just reinforce it.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to Nigeria, Christine, and many others who probably are visiting us, maybe for the first time, maybe for more than the first time. But we are very boisterous in welcoming those who come into our midst, because we're essentially very nice people as Nigerians. And we're usually very hospitable, so you can be sure you're going to take many tales of the Nigerian hospitality with you by the time you're leaving us. And to my dear compatriots, mostly female, a sprinkle of males, good morning. We needed to have the platforms that would not simply be about our conversation on the necessity for women to be part of society in a more inclusive way, but also the necessity for women to understand that it is not sufficient to make the gender argument. It is important to make the personal development argument for gender inclusion. We don't want to be a bunch of women who talk about women issues from the perspective that I am a woman, therefore I am entitled to certain things. No, that's certainly not what we want, right? What we want is a much deeper conversation that says women are important resource for nation building, for global development, and therefore we must ensure that every woman gets the opportunity to build herself into a dynamite that can hold her own in any capacity at any time. And I think that that's what gives the Women's International Networking a bit of a distinction from a lot of other gatherings of women. These are the real issues that are driving the kinds of evolution of society that we're seeing across the world. So in all of these things that we see going on around the world, a lot of undercurrents are driving them. And sometimes if we make the mistake of not understanding those undercurrents, then we might be trying to solve problems that we think are the key problems, but they really are symptoms of deeper issues. Economic research has shown us that the problems of economic development today for nearly all countries, including the advanced ones, is the problem of productivity and competitiveness. Productivity and competitiveness of countries is dependent, is what determines how well citizens will do. At the time of independence in the 60s, we were very similar to Singapore. Both had been colonized by Britain. We had similar historical contexts. Over time, that diverged. Why? Because Singapore put all the emphasis on its human development. And in putting the emphasis, it did not discriminate between the men and the women. It developed all of its human resources. And when it did that, over time, human capital became the driver of economic growth for Singapore. And as human capital that was inclusive of men and women drove development process, it was very natural for women to be represented in all segments of society. When the women and their capacities are developed, enhanced, and supported to be a part of the natural integration of development, and that would be the beginning of a Nigeria where the citizens have absolute confidence in the power of their government to be called legitimate.
My question for you today is, what is holding Nigerian women back? I feel like we know what to do, we know the issues, but we're not making headway. You talked about less than 6% in the House of Assembly, and then the women in corporate boards. I meet with a lot of women, I meet with a lot of girls, and I want to hear from you. What do you think is holding the Nigerian woman
Wow,
back?
what is holding us back? What is holding you back?
How can we, amongst ourselves, avoid PhD, pull her down? If you see crabs in a barrel, they spend their lives, if you put crabs in a barrel, have you ever seen crabs in a barrel? As one crab is trying to climb out of the container, the other one is pulling, thinking that that's the way to climb up. And what happens at the end of the day? They all end up at the bottom of the barrel. So let us encourage more the leaving of the ladder syndrome. What does that mean? Leave that ladder leaning against the wall that you used to climb up so that others have the opportunity to climb up.
Lead the way, lead the way. You cannot lead the way if you are not healthy. And you cannot lead the way if you are not empowered. If you cannot lead the way if you are not intelligent. You cannot lead the way if you are not determined. I tend to focus on saying medicinal plants for health and economic empowerment of women. It's something that is entwined. It will give you the health, it will give you the beauty, it will give you the empowerment, and it will give you finally to lead the way because of who you are as a woman. You are the only source of human life. Who are you inside? You are a leader, you are a thinker, you are a worker. So what do you need to lead the way? You have already started leading the way. Medicinal plants. This is, when God created you, he didn't put you there. He put the Garden of Eden. How many of you have thought, why was Garden of Eden there? For you to eat, to be healthy, for you to be able to get your grace. You cannot do anything if you are not healthy or if you're not eating. So that Garden of Eden is significant. If you don't domesticate the locality, you cannot go international. So I tried to research, and I discovered you have 8,000 species of plants. So why are you not tapping it? Research has shown that that is something that can benefit you, both as economic empowerment. Whatever comes, if you are not healthy, you are not economically empowered.
I want to say straight away that I believe in affirmative action, but I also believe that women have to work very hard to get to where they need to be. I also want to say that I believe that women can shape policy, can lead the way in their communities, in their homes, in their churches, and even in society without ever standing for an election. How, you may want to ask? For me, there's a very simple way that you can lead in society without ever standing for an election. I'm sure you can guess. Become a civil servant. Now, you can see that you could be a civil servant and play so many roles and wear so many caps. And of course, that means that in every of these spheres that you operate, you are leading the way. For me, we women have the best of both worlds. And I know, of course, we have the problem of balancing our career and family. But that also can be done. It's not easy, but it can be done.